Welcome to the first ever edition of the Weekly Dweeb. With me today, as always, my good friend Kev, and for the first time ever, my friend, my new friend, just met him, Danny from the Clout Route. Fellas, how are we doing today?
All 3 eggs. It's the 3 eggs of the apocalypse.
I shaved mine today. Check it out. I'm looking pretty good.
Nice and shiny.
I am. I'm still good. I'm still good from last week. We aren't due yet.
You're not as confident, huh?
Kev's a once a week shaver.
Oh yeah. I didn't invest in all these hats for nothing.
Oh,
I'm kind of with you.
I should have wore a hat.
Harles is going in blind. Yeah, there will be spoilers. All right.
None of these people know anything.
Yeah, mega spoilers incoming. Mega spoilers incoming. We've got to have that. It's somewhere. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. I've got the bounce set up there, Kev. I'm not even ready for this. I don't even know what we're doing here. We are talking Fallout today, Kev's favorite video game series ever, I believe, is what he told me.
Right up there.
So I guess first off, let's just lay the groundwork. I've never played a Fallout game ever. I've watched one of my best friends play, and I've watched the show. That's it for me. So that's my basis of this. That's all I got. I don't know where you guys are coming from here. Kev, I know I think you're a deep dive. You're a super nerd.
Ooh, yeah, Danny, we'll start with you because I think we're on a pretty similar level as far as our Fallout nerdiness, but I do like to I am such a Fallout nerd that sometimes while I'm at work, I'll listen to lore videos on YouTube, of vaults that I didn't have enough free time to go play that side mission. So I'm just like, oh yeah, cool. Tell me about Vault 12 or whatever. But so I've played all of them that are on the console. Danny, how about you, man? Are you as big of a Fallout nerd as I am?
I'm with you on the the YouTube lore videos. Okay. Like I'll go to bed and I'll set some of those on while I'm trying to sleep or whatever. That's pretty good. I do like that. It's like for a while, those stocks were up on YouTube. If you did the Fallout videos, you were getting all kinds of views, like me going to sleep to you. Now it's like Kendrick and Drake beef or whatever. So the algorithms change.
Ooh, thank you for mentioning that in the first 3 minutes. That's great. We appreciate that.
Snuck it right in there.
but yeah, I never played 1 and 2. So although I have heard a lot of the lore through these YouTube videos we're talking about, I have never played 1 and 2. I've played 3, New Vegas, 4, played a lot of 76 lately. It's a lot of fun. Might be controversial. And I did do my homework and watch the TV show.
That was the only homework for this episode was watch the TV show. That's the basis. That's the bare line. And it looks like some people in here, we didn't give the homework assignment out. I thought I see somebody has it right here. Mystic perhaps hasn't made it past episode 3 yet. So well, we didn't do a great job of passing it out, letting everybody know.
Whoops.
That's our fault.
Sorry about that. Our bad, guys. It's all right. It'll be fine. Well, you can come back and just watch this again after you've seen it all. Because there's no way. I was putting the doc together and I realized there was not going to be any way that we were going to get through all of it, which actually kind of is going to work out because Nate wasn't able to join us. I'm going to read some notes from him here real quick, but there's going to be plenty of stuff we don't get to. There were some things I had to axe from the doc, and our doc. It's going to be like a Clout Route episode, Danny. We're probably not going to get through everything I tried to put on the doc, especially with an expert like VDub. As I said in the pre-show, VDub is going to be our Anthony for the Fallout series. If you guys don't watch Han, you don't know what we're talking about. But the guy's handle is Vault Wanderer. I think he knows a thing or two about Fallout. But Nate's first connection, Nate, who will probably be with me when we swing back to talk about all this stuff a second time. His first connection to the series was New Vegas, which is my favorite game. He had really just played sports games at the time, so it was his first. He got really immersed into the world. He feels like the video game series lends itself to a game that has multiple playthroughs. I think anybody who's a fan of the games would agree with that. In fact, the series has inspired another playthrough for him. Join the club, pal. We're all with you there. He's not completely through the show, but he absolutely loves it. He says it's not 100% perfect, just gives him the same vibes as playing the game. So keep that in mind as we give our thoughts on the show. But yeah, very similar. My first experience would have been Fallout 3. I think I played someone else's, but the first game that I bought was New Vegas. And to this day, it's still my favorite video game. I can't wait to go back and play it. I actually, on this channel, will be streaming my playthrough of it. I've got the thumbnail made. I've done the testing. We're locked and loaded. So maybe we'll do a better job of notifying you guys of the heads up. Probably not. I'll probably be like, hey, I'm going live in an hour. But that's fine. So
they know how it is.
Yeah, you know how it is. I'll say I'm going live in an hour, and then 90 minutes later I'll be live. But it'll be a lot of fun. So if you want to hang out and talk lore, I'll be doing that. But yeah, and any of the stuff from games 1 and 2, which honestly were popular, I was way too young to be into those types of computer games, let alone even have a computer. It's kind of hard for young folk to understand. At one point, there was one computer for your entire household, and you couldn't use it if your mom was on the phone with your grandmother.
Such a different era.
Yeah, so like to use up that valuable space on a video game, where there wasn't nearly the same storage space either. Like it wasn't happening for me. I had Windows 3D Movie Maker, and that was my video game on the PC for the longest time. So I would love to go back and play Fallout 1 and 2. In fact, this show really makes me want to play it, because the show is, again, over on the West Coast of things, the part of the universe that I like the most. I didn't love Fallout 3, probably because I had to play it after New Vegas, and I was like, this is not nearly as good. Felt like I was in a giant shitty labyrinth. I didn't like 3 nearly. Yeah, you can't do shit, dude. It's
run, dude. That's the weirdest part about 3 is that you can't run.
What?
You cannot sprint. You have to walk.
Ugh, that's terrible.
It's weird. Seriously,
I'd be so mad.
When you play the later ones and then you want to go back and revisit, it's so jarring because yeah, you can't fucking sprint. You're walking like a tank all the time.
It's like you got the armor on and you just gotta walk the whole time.
Yeah,
that's awful.
You are over encumbered, just playing the game.
Oh god, that reminds me of Resident Evil 4, just being over encumbered all the time, getting chased around by zombies.
You just got to get that hoarder perk. I think I can't remember if that's New Vegas or Fallout 3, but it's basically you get a bunch of extra carrying power, but the rule is you have to always, if you're carrying less than 150 pounds, you lose points everywhere. So it's perfect, dude. Perfect for a guy like me who is trying to scrap every single thing. Is that a teapot? Fuck yeah, that's worth 1 bottle cap. I'm picking everything up that I can,
You're that guy.
And I'm selling it to the next merchant. They're like, why does this guy sell me all this junk? And I'm like, they're my trophies, mother, from Army.
It's dope too if you're one of those guys and you collect all that junk throughout the game, and then you watch the television show and you're like, oh, all that junk is actually here. They've mapped out all the junk. You see the Abraxo cleaner and the fucking the dandy apples or whatever, and the
Big
yum.
Boss cigarettes, which are a reference to my other favorite video game series, dude. Oh, that was so awesome. Yeah,
what are Big Boss cigarettes?
They're just a brand of cigarettes that are in the game, but it's a reference, of course, to Big Boss.
Oh, Metal Gear. Did you guys see that Bethesda they shared their files so that all the stuff you see in the game is 3D, or in the show is 3D printed, like all the props and stuff?
Really?
Bethesda just gave them all their files and they 3D printed them all. Todd Howard talked about it recently.
That's kind of cool.
Like the attention to detail. Halo, pay attention. Show. Kev, so I want to start this vault situation, okay? So I don't know anything. I don't know shit about shit when it comes to Fallout. I thought, these vaults were all nice and friendly, right? Like vault, whatever, 30, whatever we were in, 33 before it got attacked. However, come to find out throughout the show, not the case at all. So how many vaults, for one, how many vaults do we have? And are we dealing with the nicest ones and the rest just go to shit? Like, there's a guy with a double nose. One eyeball, like it's wild.
I don't think the games had ever depicted, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't remember seeing like cyclopses and shit like that. Like people that had like mated with irradiated people. Mated. Had sex.
Yeah, we're past 3 minutes. You can say it now.
Yeah, we're in.
VW, you can unload the paragraphs whenever you want.
Yeah, feel free to help us out
here. If you've got context to add, that would be great. Much appreciated. I don't know if there's a set number now, and I don't play Fallout Shelter anymore. I can't. Dark Side Phil has me off of video. No mobile games. I don't play mobile games. I don't want to have to go in debt and e-beg for the rest of my life, so I just don't play Fallout Shelter anymore. But I know that they had up to 3 digits, so theoretically, there's like 999 vaults in the game world of it. But as far as I know, they're at least in the hundreds, right? Danny, like there's a vault 101.
There's definitely a 101. That was from one of the games you were from 101. Maybe it's 4. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, I wasn't sure if it got like, I don't think I've seen one past 101 or maybe past the hundreds. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I've seen like a vault 210 or something, I don't know if it gets that high or not. I mean, obviously I could be wrong.
It says 111 is the max he believes.
Okay.
So somewhere close. We're in the same ballpark. Yeah. So there's about 100. And James, the way you describe, like your experience is the intended experience, I think, when you first play.
Okay.
Especially if you're playing, whether you're playing 1 or playing Fallout 3, you start in sort of one of the good ones. And then you have to go out in 1. I think it's your water chip gets destroyed. And so they have to send you out to the waste to go to. They send you, the starter mission is to just go to another vault and ask them for 1. And then, as you do, they even reference it in the, it's the Ghoul's golden rule in the show. Thou shalt get sidetracked with bullshit every damn day or whatever it was.
It's just a fetch quest.
It's a fetch quest. And then in 3, it shit goes haywire on your way out as you escape, but the whole time you're thinking it's just a normal society. But once you start to get in and for one reason or another get sent to these different vaults for side quests, you start to find out about all of the experiments and all the horrible things that happened, which is very parallel to the way the show did it, right? I mean, they rip the Band-Aid off pretty quickly, but they start, it's just like, oh, everything's nice. And even when things get chaotic, it's just raiders from the outside world, so they don't think really. It takes a while. If you were new to Fallout lore, you wouldn't have really known right away that Vault-Tec was one of the big bads in the series. But yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag, James. I would say, Danny, what do you think? Like, a third of them are good, but most of them are some kind of weird human experiment.
Right. I like how they introduced it in the TV show because it it kind of tells you that Vault-Tec is a little sinister, just flat out. In the video game, you're like finding the different vaults and you're like, why is this one fucked up? Why is this one so much different? Why is that one so much different? So it's interesting that way. But yeah.
Why are they all named Gary?
They're like control vaults. So there's like ones that just rich people got to go in and nothing happened at all. They just lived normal lives, and then obviously there's variations of experiments that they do on all the other ones. I thought a cool aspect of 76, the newest game, is that you come from a control vault. So it's just a normal one. And it kind of makes sense because it's like, that's the massive multiplayer aspect of it, means that it's just going to be a bunch of the same little turds coming out and then exploring and getting better. So it's cool that you start from a point of like everyone was just a normal person, and then you go out and you all have the same capabilities, you know. But yeah, these other ones get freaky. Like, what did they say is the one in the show a control vault, or did they have an experiment to it? I can't remember.
See, I think we're going to find out more about it, but I think it's an experiment, because Vault 31 has buds, where it's all those managers that are just put on ice, and they are always brought in to become overseer of at least Vault 33, but I think Vault 32 as well, before that whole thing went to shit. So I assume it's an experiment. I don't know if it's just to test the validity of the Buds program, and like, did we actually make good managers, or if there was some greater purpose, because it still doesn't make complete sense to me. Because yeah, okay, you have these people from your company that you bring in to be overseer, but what's the stated goal? Is it just to keep that society alive until eventually you can hit the wasteland? Or you know, I don't get I think there's still going to be more to be told to us about that particular vault. Did her father leave her on purpose to have radioactive parties with the raider woman that kidnapped him? I need to know that when we get to that section. Oh, that's great. Yeah, well, that's the biggest spoiler right there, Babs, I think.
Yeah. So like, are all the vaults, are they all like three connected vaults like that? Is that how it works?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think that the show one is kind of unique in that aspect. So I guess that is the shtick, right? I guess that's their little experiment for some reason.
Okay, yeah. So it's their
three of them attached.
With
the managers on ice and all that shit. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, V-Dub says the same. It's new for the show.
Okay,
he says it's explained, but are we spoiling the end? I would say, yeah. Chat is also a spoiler zone, so everyone beware if you
spoilers, baby.
Really don't want it spoiled.
I seen it in his face. He was happy and wanted to go. Yeah, audio only. Yeah,
he was happy to go.
Isn't that guy the father one of the coolest fucking castings in this though? I mean, obviously Walton
he's awesome.
Goggins is sweet, but that Kyle MacLachlan dude is fucking, that's awesome.
He's awesome.
Especially with Dune 2 coming out right around the same time. I was reminded of 1984 Dune, which is going to be taken off of Max soon,
that's
by the way.
right.
If you want to watch it and you have Max, get on it.
I completely forgot about that.
So it might have just been my
connection together.
Yeah, my own little personal nostalgia treat, but I was like, oh, hell yeah, dude. Yes.
The same guy.
Look at that. Yeah. Well, that brings me to my next question. How come he didn't bring the Dune technology with him? Like, did the Dune novels not exist in this timeline where they saw that you had to have little things to shove in your nose to be able to live in the sand? Like, that's how you got water. Like, did they not study the Fremen? Like, what are like? They really fucked that up.
He doesn't know the weirding way. Oh yeah, Twin Peaks.
Yeah, Twin Peaks. Yep.
Boom.
Okay,
that's
so
another one.
When the council offers vault experiment ideas at the end, they're all real ideas you see in game vaults. That was a fun detail. Got it. Kev, explain this little brain monster to me. How about that?
Other good detail while we're talking about that, I loved the meeting with Mr. House, alive in the flesh, Mr. House representing Robco. That was pretty neat. I'm sure we'll see that after again.
What's that? So explain to me.
So
I don't know what to call myself. A non-vaulter.
Mr. House is like a character from Vegas, New Vegas, the game, where he's like the big centerpiece around that whole game is like the strip or whatever. It's like the casinos and stuff. And he runs the whole place, right? And then your choices can either, usurp the power from him, put him in power.
Okay,
do it this way, do it that way, kind of thing. So he's a guy that was in the game, and even in the game, they say that they're not making the games canon. I've heard. So like stuff that's happened in the game, they're not setting like a specific storyline from any of the games to be canon for the TV show. So Mr. House could be a lot. That that house guy could be alive still in the TV show. You know what I mean? Not just in the flashbacks, but he could potentially still be alive if that's how the New Vegas story went in the TV show universe. You know what I mean? Like if you helped, technically, if the character that you would play in New Vegas in the TV show world helps Mr. House, he could still be around for the second season and he could be a big character.
Yeah, that's true. That is interesting. Yeah, VDubs, they aren't making any of the endings.
So yeah, the games, there's multiple endings, right? Like you can do it however you want. There's no X to Z or A to B ending, right?
That's for most. Yeah, for most of them, there's different outcomes depending because there's a few different factions, and you usually buddying up with one of them will make you an enemy of the other. And so, for instance, I think Fallout 4 is the one that gets kind of sloppy because with the Institute involved, like you somehow, some way, I don't think you get as many options in 4, but in New Vegas, like you could align with the bad guys. You can say, fuck it, I'll rewire the Yes Man and I'll become the new Mr. House and I'll just run Vegas myself. You can go with the NCR, we can go with the government. So it's meant to be based on all those decisions that you make, and if you want to be a good guy or a bad guy and how you want to do it. So yeah, it really does, like Danny said, it opens the door for a lot of these storylines. And I know we're getting way ahead on the timeline of the series, but that was the most hype ending for me of all time, was him seeing the Strip, knowing that the Strip was going to be involved in season 2. I was like, give me this right now. I need season 2 right now.
It's the best thing that they could have did, because people that played the games want to see that kind of stuff brought in. And when you show New Vegas specifically, you're like, I want to know, this takes place after. I want to know what happened, because it could be anything, whatever they decide to go with. It's pretty interesting. Like any way they take it that you would go in the game would be interesting. Mr. House, or if you did the Yes Man thing, like imagine that being a character in the television show, like an army of robots controlled by some guy.
Yeah, and James, they're giant robots with like one wheel on the bottom, probably about as big as a dude in power armor.
They've got like claw hands,
and they've got 2 giant claw arms. Yeah,
what are they called?
Like Robotrons. It's Robotech, I think, or Robotron.
If you put in like Yes Man, Fallout New Vegas, you'll get to see it. VDub says New Vegas being a different game developer and loved by most of the fans makes most people think Bethesda are salty about it. So it's nice to see it get love. It's a Robotron. There we go. Thank you.
Robotron. Yeah, I knew something like that.
Oh, Robotron. Okay, I was say Robotech did not pull up.
And while you were, while you were pulling it up, had you asked me about the brain in? Were you asking me about the show? Was that you asked me about Bud?
Yeah, what's going on with that little bastard? What is going on with him? What the hell is this thing?
That reminds me, Danny, what is it, 3 or is it New Vegas? There is a vault in one of the games. I think it's a vault, maybe it's a town, where everybody is like that. It's like a hotel. Yeah, it's a vault because there's a hotel, and there's like a vault in the basement, and I think you solve a murder or something, but everybody is just a brain in a robot body. Do you know what I'm talking about? Is that ringing a bell to you?
Yeah, and like that's like a reoccurring enemy in Fallout games, right? It's like the brain in the fucking robot thing. They're in all the games, I think, right?
Yeah, they usually don't look like Roombas. They usually have like a bit of a body to them. They have a little bit of
stature. They have like tracks, right? Don't they have like tank tracks that they roll?
Yeah, that's right. And some claw hands, I think. Yeah, they have a whole.
So they're all not just useless like him.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a hilarious way to incorporate those characters.
Okay.
It's a DLC. Thank you, VDub. Yeah. So
They're just called Robo Brains.
Robo Brains. There you go. Yeah, having him be just sort of a useless,
it's kind of a
slappy. Couldn't even move. Couldn't even move a mop. And then especially how it plays to that character when you get to see the flashbacks, which were the flashbacks probably maybe my favorite part of the show. Which I hope I don't say that phrase too. There's a lot of things that I like. There are some things I didn't like.
Yeah. I think that leads into a good point of like before the war and stuff. Obviously, we get tons of flashbacks to Walton Goggins' character being a famous cowboy, to the bombs going on. I mean, the bombs go off early in one of the early episodes. You see Vault Tech and stuff. Like, what are your as people as guys that have played the games? Like, it's all new to me. What are some of your favorite callbacks there? You just kind of mentioned you liked a lot of them.
Well, obviously, yeah, the whole bit with the thumb was just such a cool fucking thing where his kids put it out and they're watching it fucking go. I mean, that's so dope.
Yeah, V-Dub said the same thing. I thought it was really cool. Again, I don't know I didn't play the games. I do know the logo. Right. I thought it was awesome that they didn't get like a lot of studios where they'd be like, hey, we can change this. We can make this better. I put that in quotation marks. And they went and ran straight with they just used the exact logo. And like that, they gave a cool backstory, but they didn't change it at all. That's Fallout. Like I can see that logo. You could show it to me and be like, oh yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
And there's so much to it, like throughout the story. So in the first episode he's working at a birthday party. And so you don't necessarily know right off the bat, but you're like, all right, this dude needs money. Otherwise, why the hell is he working this birthday party? And what we come to find out afterwards, he sounds like he's divorced, right? I imagine he's divorced, something like that. That's why he needs the money. But also because he is viewed as a communist sympathizer, that's probably why he got kicked out of Hollywood and had to work birthday parties. But it's also why the Fallout Boy cartoon is a thing anyway, right? Because a cartoon doesn't have questionable political ideals. So you can't have something like that happen where the guy who's been selling your product for all these. So it leads me to believe that they catch him at some point, and that he somehow is outed as what do they call those back then? A pinky? Somebody not quite communist, not quite a red, but
pinky. I like that.
So I think that all of that stuff, and it's just kind of there's just little pieces that are there, but it at the end of the season, you're like, oh wow, that's a nice layer to the story. So I don't know, his whole spycraft thing. We don't know how he survives that part. I'm looking forward to hear the one part. So we're not here just glazing this thing for an hour and a half. Let me point out a perceived plot hole for me was that his wife couldn't figure out the track. You're gonna put a tracking device on her pit boy and listen to like this.
Yeah, it's pretty convenient.
Yeah, this genius just can't figure that out. Gee,
they had AirPods back then before they were AirPods. The freaking thing that like stuck out of his ear this far.
That's what the weird technology and like the aesthetic is kind of my favorite part about the flashbacks. Like it's the same way in the games, how they make it look. It's like a, old school, but the technology is kind of newer school, and it's a mix mash of that. And they did a really good job, I think, of displaying that like retro, but not necessarily like, it's still technological when they did those flashbacks.
I love they had the old timey workout machines in the vault, like even the thing, even the rope that just like moved, like the old ab machine, like the band that just spun.
Yeah, give you a 6-pack of abs if you just stand there. Is it works on?
Yeah.
I'd like to do one of those.
I bet those things worked. That's why they don't.
That's why they had to get rid of them. They had to get rid of them because they work so well.
Would have had to bury that secret knowledge.
It's I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, the tech is awesome. Even like the Pit Boy, like I recognize the Pit Boy, like very specific things. They ripped the Pit Boy, the logo, all that stuff out, and then Vita brought up a good one we can jump right into. Like, how did this? So explain ghouls to me in very simple terms because I don't understand it. Other than the one squire took the ghoul, he got tricked by the salesman that looked like he's ripped out of what movie is that where Johnny Depp is this a musical movie? What fucking movie is that?
The barber one?
Sweeney Todd.
Yes, Sweeney Todd. He looks like he's ripped right out of Sweeney. Yeah, it looks like he's ripped out of there. It's the guy in there that's selling the serums.
Yeah.
Okay, so he might not be a ghoul. Okay, so let's talk Walton Goggins' character, the ghoul. How does that happen? I need some details. That's a game thing, right? Ghouls are in the game. I assume they're in the game.
Mm-hmm. Big.
Yeah. Also, there's a whole ghoul house. Like there's people are just hoarding them in their freezers.
The ghoul thing is interesting, and I actually have a question to toss to you too about it, Kevin. I mean, as far as I understand it, it's just that if you didn't get blasted and burnt to burnt to nothingness from a blast, and you just got irradiated or whatever, then that's what kind of facilitates a ghoul. So if you're, maybe you hid behind the right fridge, not in it, because somehow hiding in the fridge will save you. Well,
those old school fridges were like those were bunkers.
The dumbest plot hole in Fallout 4 is that little boy, that ghoul that lived 200 years in a fridge. Makes no sense. All of a sudden they don't need to eat.
But anyway. Yeah, so like I guess it's just humans that get irradiated, they turn into ghouls.
Okay.
When some go feral, and which I think that was an interesting. I don't remember that. Danny, correct me if I'm wrong, or I know V-Dub says he's headed to bed soon. We appreciate you. You spam as long as you want, V-Dub, but someone correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't remember ghouls going feral having a treatment. Like the idea that he can take chems to keep himself from going feral, I think might be a new wrinkle to the story. But yeah, generally speaking, ghouls are a big part of it. They're usually at the heart of a big morality quest, right? Where it's like, are you going to go in there? Like somebody will hire you to go kill all the ghouls in this place. But then if you go talk to them, you find out they're not feral and they actually want something, and you can maybe just help them, and then they'll leave willingly. Stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I think ghouls are used a lot to kind of test your humanity. How are you going to treat these things? But then the feral ones are, it's more like a Night of the Living Dead situation. I think Fallout 4 has a couple of big scenes where you're just kind of being chased like a horror movie by an endless horde of feral ghouls. So they can kind of cover a wide range. But
can I ask you something though about the ghouls?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think, and maybe there's not a definitive way to it, but how do you think like the regeneration and like their survivability kind of works? Because I had a buddy of mine that I had talked a lot of Fallout shop with or whatever, and he had said one of his gripes was why can Walton Goggins get lit up with a bunch of bullets and not die from it or whatever? And I was like, I kind of thought about it. I was like, well, I guess ghouls aren't zombies, but I always just had the impression that like as long as you don't like blow their heads off, they can pretty much survive like a limb being torn off, or because they're just like, I don't know, they're some kind of a zombie human hybrid thing that I don't know. It's interesting, right? Like, how does it work?
Yeah. I don't know, but I think it's interesting. And you had talked about something kind of similar in the pre-show where someone had a gripe about the show that is just sort of, well, how are you a fan of the games if you didn't like that about the show? I think for you it was like the way they discarded those puppies or something like that. You're
right.
Like, dude, the number of dogs you have to take down in a Fallout game, like that's the reason you won't watch. I think I think this is kind of something similar similar to that, where it's just shit. And I lost my train of thought here. I'm sorry.
It's just like you think it's just an excuse to dislike the show in itself to critique the ghoul, whether it can fucking regenerate.
Yeah,
because we're talking about a
not?
show where stim packs are a thing.
That's what I said. That was my thing. I was like, dude, you're complaining about him getting shot through the shoulder or whatever and not dying, but she's like, ka-ching, I'm better now. Magic.
The Brotherhood guy that died was just asking.
He
for
just
the
would
one
not have been.
pack.
He just didn't need to be an asshole. If he would not have been such an asshole, he wouldn't be dead. But he had to be an asshole.
I think that's why they hired Michael Rappaport for that.
Yeah,
role,
it's an awesome hiring.
Who's somebody who anybody watching this would be like, yeah, I'd probably let that guy go too. Such a prick. Man, he did a great job of it though. But he was awesome in that role. All the games call the dog Dog Meat. The show dog is named Elon's kid. What the fuck? Why not Dog Meat? That's a great question for VW. Now, I saw a video. I was watching an Easter egg video to try to catch stuff that I didn't catch. And somebody claims that Thaddeus at one point, when he locks the dog in the fridge, refers to him as
Nuka-Cola fridge.
As like an insult. So maybe that is us getting his new name. It needs to be Dog Meat, but at one point, I think it's like that in one of the games too, where you don't know his name's Dog Meat right away either. So I think they're just doing another reference where eventually he'll be called Dog Meat. But
does it have to be Dog Meat? Because we've had other dogs, right? I mean, I'd like it to be Dog Meat. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, we've had other dogs in the series too, right? Like Rax was the one with or was it Rex? What was the robot one where you?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that is right.
That was a cool dog. I mean, this one is obviously not the same one, but I don't know. I think it should be Dog Meat.
I think so too, and I hope that reference is correct. I hope he at least did that, and I'm going to go back and watch it. But we mentioned Thaddeus before, and we've been talking about ghouls. And we've talked about callbacks, and at some point we'll talk about theories. This is a little bit of all of that. And James, you mentioned it earlier with that serum that Thaddeus got from the Wasteland Willy Wonka. Go ahead.
Yeah. So now I have a question for you guys. So ghouls are created that way. So I don't know what the serum is, but so Mr. R. Ghoul is he using said serum to keep himself alive, to keep himself from turning into a feral ghoul, zombie, whatever you want to call him? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah,
that's the same stuff that the Squire takes to save his foot, right?
I think
it's
so.
Different.
Don't think so. Okay.
So like, and Kevin, I think may have said it pre-show or whatever, but the Squire guy who's played by that Pemberton comedian dude, I thought he was kind of funny in that role, but when they inject him with that stuff, there's a virus that they talk about in all the games. It's the forced evolution virus or whatever. And that's like a big thing in all the games, kind of in different ways. They use it in kind of different ways. They've made super mutants and shit in different ways, blah, blah, blah. So some people think that him doing that was the super mutant thing. Could also be a ghoul thing, though. I mean, we don't really know. And it seems like the guy is using just regular old chems that you have in the game available to you to keep himself from going feral rather than the actual like FEV thing. But I could be wrong, Kevin.
Okay.
That's how I interpreted it too. And I wonder if it's something as simple as he's just huffing rat away. Because I don't know how they're going to explain, again, people turning feral like that. Maybe there's been a storyline of it, but my memory is that every ghoul you run into is either feral or they aren't. So them having it be something that can be treated is new. So I don't know if it's as simple as a pre-existing chem that they're using, or if they're going to have a different medicine. But to my knowledge, there was never anything you could drink that would turn you into a ghoul. But there has been the FEV that people. I don't know if anybody's ever drank that either, but people have been exposed to it and turned into super mutants. And I think it could be a very cool having that comedian, that scrawny dude, end up playing a super mutant with
a giant hulking
hulking?
ass.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of hilarious at the very least.
It would be funny if they like use his voice and everything, but they like CGI him into a fucking, a Shrek. It would be kind of funny. It'd be a kind of funny dynamic there, I think. I don't know though.
Super mutants right now.
You said something about, could it be a ghoul or whatever, I guess, that he's turning into. And it's like, it doesn't seem, while we haven't, seen that in the games yet, I don't think, it doesn't seem far-fetched to me that if you turn into a ghoul from exposure to radiation or whatever, from the bombs dropping, that there could be something that you could just ingest that radiates you and turns you into a fucking ghoul the same way. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound too crazy for me, especially in the Fallout universe.
Yeah, I agree with that. James, are you looking up super mutants?
Now I'm down the super mutant rabbit hole. Yeah. This dude is I'm gonna pop this he's an ugly dude, man. I don't know which game.
Yeah, dude.
The graphics aren't great. It's an IGN article I'm looking at, but I just want to show this. He's ugly. This is not good. Not a good look.
Oh yeah.
And there's like different variations of them in the game too. They like look different throughout the different games and like are dumber and smarter and lankier and beefier. So
some have stealth boys, which is just that's so unfair. Imagine one of those being invisible.
Yeah,
right. And then you got to fight them.
And then they go crazier when they get addicted to the stealth boys.
Yeah, that's right.
People don't even know what a stealth boy is, dude. They have this thing in Fallout. I guess it's like, I've never really thought about it too hard, but what, does it connect to your pit boy?
I guess so. I've never thought about the mechanic of it, because when you think about it, you're carrying like 800 pounds of whatever just in your pit boy. You got that inventory.
Yeah.
But I always just viewed it as Harry Potter's invisibility cloak, but for you in Fallout, you just turn completely invisible. I have no idea how they're gonna do it in the show, but yeah, I'm
surprised they didn't do that. They didn't hit that gimmick.
These things are ugly, man.
Pest wants to know if there's butt stuff in Fallout. No, close.
There's cousin fucking. Oops.
Yeah. Oh, we're well past 3 minutes. You're good. You can say it.
Well, sometimes I feel like maybe I should, when I'm on
maybe there's a line
channel, I shouldn't go straight.
This one. Not that this one is
cousin fucking is fine.
Yeah, it's all three here.
For you to say, not
not for me to do, or anyone for that matter.
That's right.
But I don't know about butt stuff, but they definitely talk about, like the vault. Some people found those jokes distasteful. I thought that they were pretty funny, honestly, when they're talking about like cousin fucking and shit.
They don't even like. I think it's funny.
It's
don't
a reasonable problem.
It's like ironic. It's really funny.
Yeah.
I laughed. I was like, "That's good. That's really good."
My favorite awkward scene, I think, was the Brotherhood of Incel scene when she's like, "Well, do you want to have sex?" And he's like, "Well, no, that weird thing might happen."
Yeah,
or it pops like a pimple.
His pimple pop, and he'll die.
Jesus Christ!
Really fumbled the bag there, didn't he?
But it makes sense, right? Like it's a gag, but it tracks in universe that a dude who literally survived the Indiana Jones way by hopping into a fridge as a child and has been raised by a bunch of weird, almost religious fanatics that are obsessed with capturing every toaster left in the wasteland to make sure that nobody else can use it. It would maybe make sense that guy wouldn't know much about women. I got tracks. Just wild. Nobody's jerking it in the wasteland, dude. That's probably good. Probably the way you stay alive.
Like how just wacky it is. I love it. It's just, to me, and I don't play Fallout, it feels Fallout to me. If I was to expect what a Fallout game would feel like, that's it.
Oh, that's great.
Babs right there. You can make my ding dong explode.
I get it, but I wasn't ready. Yeah. Oh my God. That was one of my favorite parts of the show was the misdirection of that entire vault, I think, because it gives a lot of lore as well, with having that hospital that's set there as like a vault trap. And it's that to me was very indicative of just what it's like to play the game. You stumble across some side quest, you have no idea what it is, and it's actually kind of the opposite of what it looks like it's going to be. And then you get a ton of lore and backstory through going through the depths of the vault. And there were some really cool callbacks that I didn't notice upon a first viewing, like how he's in Vault 4. Cooper's doing an ad in Vault 4. And at one point he walks by the test subject room, which is the same room that those two are quarantined in later. So it's just, you can either love that or hate that. Sometimes that starts to feel a little too Skywalker-y, James, to put it in a Star Wars term, where it's like, wow, it's great that there are 12 people that all somehow are always connected.
12, it's not that many.
I know, I'm trying to skew Fallout in the right direction.
I went and watched the re-release of The Phantom Menace this weekend. That movie is all about the Skywalkers.
Damn, dude, it was funny. I was telling Kevin on our last episode that I had forgot yesterday was
that's really
Cinco de Mayo, because I was occupied with thinking about May the 4th. I've been playing a shit ton of what the fuck is it? Fallen Order or whatever on Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh,
those games are so good.
Hey, it's Revenge of the Sixth today. You know,
it is Revenge of the
There
Sixth.
you go. Sorry, this is a Fallout show. I'm sidetracking.
That's right. Come see us on Wednesday.
That's where you'll find us every Wednesday talking that kind of stuff. Kev, explain the Brotherhood of Steel to me more. Then I know you mentioned that it was convenient that the ghoul is around to be able to show the flaw in the armor. Riddle me that. Like, explain that whole deal to me. I know that the power armor is another iconic Fallout thing. Like, if you don't know Fallout, I still think you know the power armor.
Yeah. Like it's the mascot practically, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, besides the thumbs up Vault Boy, the next thing is like the big hulking power armor. The helmet.
Been on the cover of every game but New Vegas, I believe. The power armor has. So yeah, when you think
New Vegas is cool though, because it's like the NCR guy or whatever.
Yes, which was a great misdirect in the show when they had those two just farmers just wearing old NCR uniforms to collect bullets. But with the Brotherhood, what's VDub say? A Brotherhood of Steel are the remnants of an army who hate old war tech in the search for technology, so nobody uses it because they think it's bad. That's a great synopsis right there. They believe that humanity's inability to show restraint and by creating technology that could destroy themselves was what caused the Great War. And so essentially they have this almost religious, fanatical desire to make sure that no one else can do that again. But, you know, they're happy to run around in power armor.
Yeah, they're running around. They look like Clone Wars ships they're flying around in. They've got the power armor. Like,
not hypocritical at all.
Yeah, okay. Very, very cultish. It's exactly what they are.
Yeah, they're just a bunch of punks who run around and mansplain everything to you and tell you what you do, what you got to do. But I found this, the power armor situation. I wanted to, know your thoughts on this too, Danny, because I felt like the show got caught up in a similar issue that Fallout 4 did, where it was because Fallout 4 was a new experience. It was going away from some of the more RPG aspects, really turning into just a first-person shooter based on having good graphics. So, they changed some things. And one of the things they did to try to reel in that new audience is they gave you power armor within like the first hour of the game. And then they just gave you some really shit power armor that wouldn't survive very long. They kind of nerfed it, right? So you get that little sample, you kill a death claw way too easily, by the way. So it's giving you like two of these things, but then they had to nerf it. And I felt like the show was in a similar spot. They wanted us to see and experience power armor because, like we said, it's like a mascot for the show. You couldn't do a full season of Fallout and not have the power armor. But they also know that it's so OP that they kind of nerfed it by having the ghoul which it fits his story, but him being also not only a Hollywood movie star, this dude's fucking Ronald Reagan. I'm surprised he wasn't president too. He's an old war vet too. He happens to know everything there is to know about the power armor and is able to take that dude down pretty easily. So, like, did that bug you, Danny, the way it bugged me, or were you happy with the amount of power armor in the show?
So, with the Fallout 4 thing, where you get the power armor in the beginning, I liked that. It was a nice, like, I don't know, just the pacing there at the beginning. It actually seemed like where Fallout feels so you can go any direction and do whatever you want. It was cool that, like, for a minute of the game, you really do have like a certain direction it takes you to where you're going to get that power armor, where you're going to fight that Deathclaw, and you kind of get a quick taste of like what Fallout encompasses right there at the beginning. So then it makes the game, you know, you start to see where you're going to go. Okay, I'm going to get some power armors. There's these crazy fucking things like the death claws. I'm going to get in fights where there's people on buildings shooting down at other enemies and shit and blah, 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 like in that whole scenario. So I love it in the game. But in the TV show, what I hope they do, okay, like, yeah, like you said, they want to show it. They want to get the iconic thing out there. What I hope they do is kind of like roll it back a little bit in the second season. So like maybe the power armors that we've really experienced. So like the one that gets cut up, Maximus's that gets cut up by the ghoul Walton Goggins. And like the one that get Rappaport's armor that gets torn up. I guess it's the same armor, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same. And it's with
the same armor.
It's with the Overseer now. It's with Hank.
Yeah.
Out in Vegas.
So that gets torn up by the fucking what is that? A Yao Guai?
The Yao Guai, yeah.
The bear, essentially.
Radiated bear.
But
not a friendly bear.
No, not at all. I hope what they do is they say like this power armor is like the T145B garbage. You know, this is like the generic like turd power armor. And then next season, we're gonna get like, you know, Enclave people coming in, or like maybe, you know, bigger, higher up Brotherhood of Steel people that are gonna come in with the fucking shiny, you know, mega armor and be like, fuck that, like kick that shit to the curb. We've got the real shit, you know, because it doesn't seem like it has the power that it should in the.
So there's variations of the armor. So there's not just like I just think one. I don't know. I see armor. I was like, ooh, so nice. That's it. That's everything. But there's variations, which makes sense. Big RPG. So there's more powerful, unstoppable ones because we've talked about the Deathclaw coming, and apparently that is Vader. Essentially, is what it sounds like. Vader in his prime.
Right. Yeah, the Deathclaws are there to, like, in the game to keep you from being able to just explore everywhere. Because theoretically in Vegas, you can turn one direction and walk straight to Vegas and cut the entire game out basically and get to the main goal. You're just going to have to survive Deathclaws and shit to do it. So they have these big, massive things that you'll be lucky to survive if you run into them at the wrong point of the game, let alone do any damage to them. So yeah, they're big parts of the experience, because I think everybody has had one of those where you make the wrong turn and the next thing you're like, oh fuck. It actually sounds a lot like Titus when he's running from the bear.
I mean, it is exactly like they hit on that kind of experience that the video games get, right? It's because they're like unexpected. They find the fucking bear and then it's over. And then that kind of happens in the games too. You know, even a bear, like the Deathclaws are bigger targets in my opinion. They're stronger, crazier monsters, but like even the bears, there's times when you're just walking around in the wilderness, you know, in Fallout 4, and then oops, the bear is right there and you have no chance. You know, it's gonna smash you. So I did like that, I guess, that they kind of, it spooked him. He got owned by it.
Well, he gets mowed down. You've got some requests out here, Danny. Rumor was you were dressing up for this.
Oh, it was just like we forgot to tell them to do their homework. Somebody forgot to tell me, I guess.
I mean, this Deathclaw thing's nasty looking.
Yeah,
Like, it looks zero fun.
There's a reason it was a tease at the end, right? That skull.
Yeah, the skull is just there.
it's
So
a Deathclaw,
also,
baby.
throughout us talking, I finally put together that Hank, that's I think is his name, was going the very last scene. That's Vegas. I didn't even put that together. I had no idea where that was.
If you
that
played the
now
game, you know, like the
Yeah.
silhouette of the town. So that's why people were like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's kind
I had
of
no
how
idea.
you
Meant nothing to me. Yeah.
if you want to navigate without your Pit Boy, you know, it's pretty iconic. I think that's why they did the shot that way, because you can see with the tall buildings, especially, it almost. I can't wait to see it at night. Is all I'll say. I hope they do something like for season 2. I hope the first establishing shot of New Vegas is actually at night, because that was, to me, is one of the cooler parts of the game. Walking the wasteland at night and being able to actually just see the lights from New Vegas. So, oh man, dude, season 2, all New Vegas, all
what
the
about
time.
these,
I'll be happy with it.
Shadowhunter brings up these scorpions. What are scorpions? Are they bad too?
Rad scorpions, they're pretty bad too. It's
Yeah,
just like
you
a
just-
giant scorpion.
Remember the rad roaches that were so hard to kill that the doctor
Rad
had that nice little conversation about? The rad scorpion. I mean, they're bigger. They're like human sized, aren't they, Danny?
Yeah, they're
Those are
huge,
massive.
dude.
Oh shit!
Nasty, rad scorpion.
Yeah,
I was
those don't
gonna
look fun at all.
I was gonna ask you, Kevin, do you think that they'll retroactively like add that giant fucking marble in Vegas and in New Vegas in the Fallout show?
Ooh, yes, the big eyeball guy, like the big. Yeah, that would be cool. Give me that.
Wouldn't that be sweet if that was like a fucking somewhere in the show, or maybe they, imagine if we ever go back there in a game. I mean, it would be a cool landmark, the fucking giant marble.
And they could do another Mad Max homage. They could have it be a Thunderdome, kind of like they did.
Hollow it out.
They have one of those in Fallout 4 that you can get. I think don't you get a companion through that? You can free her from fighting in some weird death cage thing. Yeah, but then you just do it in the big eyeball dome. Give me all of that. I've seen memes of Mr. House put all those Vegas,
like
all
imagine
the Vegas ball. That'd be so great.
The yes man face over the fucking giant Vegas ball or whatever. It's just like this little cartoony face right in the middle of it. I was gonna ask you though, like you were talking about the Brotherhood of Steel. Did you like the character, the main character that's from Brotherhood of Steel, Maximus or whatever? Did you think he was good? A good addition?
First of all, apologies if I accidentally called Shadow the wrong H. I don't know if one of us did that or
you called him Shadow Hunter.
Did I? Maybe. If I did,
Could have been me. Very well could have been me. It could have been me.
I apologize. So sorry. What was the question again, Danny?
Did you like Maximus? I mean, I guess it's a good question to ask across the board, because like the 3 main characters are kind of like 3 different factions: Vault Dweller, Ghoul, and Brotherhood of Steel, which we've talked about all 3. So there you go. Maximus, Lucy, and Walton Goggins or whatever.
Yeah.
Maximus. Yeah, Cooper. The character I liked in a sense. He reminded me of a little bit of Pete Campbell in Mad Men, which is one of my favorite characters to hate, where it was, he walks this line. He'll do some good guy things. He'll do some bad guy things. So just when you think that you might like him, he'll do something kind of shitty. But then he inevitably will redeem himself later, or he'll be true to his word. So in a way, I didn't like the character annoyed me to no end, but I think he was supposed to. So I thought the character was really well done. So it's kind of I don't know, it's an odd answer, but no, I thought the character was shit. I thought he was an asshole, but I thought that the actor did a great job, because I believe that's how he was directed. It's how he was meant to be. And it talks a lot about the Brotherhood of Steel and all their that weird cult-like behavior we've talked about, where they're getting jumped and all that stuff. And you got this kid slicing up his own leg just to avoid going out there. Wild shit, man.
Wasn't that gruesome?
Is that what happened there?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Damn.
That was
When that
it was
happened, I was like,
gross.
what the fuck, man? Wow.
Is that what I didn't know if he said that on to cover Maximus's ass or not? Was that the truth? Did he cut himself? Is that how you
Yes.
guys interpreted it? Because I was
So-
like, I don't know if he's
Mhm.
lying or not.
I had to, that was one part that I had to like think about after a little
Mhm.
bit, because like I didn't quite get it at first. Because I guess setting it up for the audience here, whatever. Maximus had like a friend in Brotherhood of Steel
Mhm.
that he was like going through the motions with, whatever. And then when that person was getting promoted, right, to a higher level in the Brotherhood, there's a
Mhm.
scene where that Maximus's friend is pulling on a boot and it like
Yes.
rips. I mean, there's like a razor blade in there or whatever
Yeah.
that just rips through their leg. And yeah, I thought obviously when you watch it the first time and it's that scene, they kind of say like, who would have did this to you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, later on, they kind of, I guess, more explicitly say that the person did it to themselves, but you kind of had to like think about it and make your own assumption there. I feel like
Mhm.
it doesn't explicitly come out and just say like, yeah, she's just trying, or that person was just trying to get out of it.
Yeah, that's when even later when he says that he did it, it's like I didn't know if he meant that or if he was just trying to save Maximus from getting off there when he gets in trouble for taking the armor and stuff. So I thought that was a little confusing. But I think that's probably the right way to
Gruesome though.
interpret that.
Ugh,
Oh,
God.
it's when he pulls his foot out and it's just sliced up and no.
They did have I guess speaking of that, going from that, like they had some cool gore in there, I do believe, throughout the whole season. Like they got away with doing a lot of gruesome shit, I guess.
Yeah, like so it's not overly gory, but when it's
Right.
gory, it's gory.
Well, I was telling these guys about a conversation I had with somebody about Fallout before, and they watched the first episode. They're gatekeeping Fallout, so they love the games, and they didn't want to watch the TV show. Then they watched the first episode, and they're like, "I don't like it." Then they get to the second episode, and there's a scene with the dog meat and the defunct dogs getting burnt and trashed or whatever.
Mhm.
And the guy was like, I'm not gonna watch this anymore. I can't believe they did that. Which, like we said, like you kill dogs and humans all the time in the game, so it's a weird gripe. But I mean, there are little things like that, like the razor blade scene. I mean, you could argue that scene burning the puppies, kind of like, wow.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. VW says he thinks the gore is a nod to the bloody mess perp where people explode when you shoot them.
That's interesting. That's an interesting.
I
thought,
love some of
yeah.
the nods to the gameplay, like when he has to sell his tooth in order to get a piece of his armor fixed, and the lady just taps it once and it's fixed. Like I felt like that was a nod to how you repair items in game, right? It's just-
Impacts.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
I do like those little video game references. Yeah, like you kind of gotta. They want to make it grounded so it seems believable, whatever. But then there are things that you have to be like, okay, it is based off a video game world, stim packs and that.
Yeah, there's a wackiness to it.
Yeah. Do you think there will be a mysterious stranger appearance in Fallout, the TV show?
I hope so. I'm gonna be completely honest. When I first saw the ghoul, I was thinking we might be headed that direction.
Do you want to explain what that is? I guess.
Yeah, we have to explain the mysterious stranger. Yeah, because James has no idea what the hell we're talking about. We say that.
Explain to me and the audience what a mysterious stranger is. I know what a mysterious stranger is in real life, but it's the same.
So it's when you sit on one of your hands. Wait, no, sorry. Mysterious stranger is a hat-wearing NPC that shows up at random to help you, either the courier or the vault dweller, throughout your journey. Usually, does he always pop up in VATS, Danny?
It's VATS. So like when you target and shoot somebody in VATS, he has a random chance to appear and be like pew, pew, shooting off the screen or whatever, in like a trench coat and a fedora.
I got a picture of this guy here: fedora, trench coat, and a revolver.
Yep. But yeah, that's a perk in the game. So you'd like get luck. You increase your luck, and then you can get the mysterious stranger as a perk.
And there are little bits of lore about him. So in Fallout 4, if the mysterious stranger shows up while Nick Valentine is your companion, he's the detective synth. He'll say something. You'll be like, "That, hey, you stop right there." He'll be like, "That was him. That was the stranger." And even more, maybe you might like it better. In New Vegas, you meet the mysterious stranger's son, and at one point, he gives you a revolver that when you pull it out from the holster, it plays that same musical note that happens in VAT. Stanny, you know the one I'm talking about? When
right, like in Vegas, it's like a whistle or something, but then in like other games, the tunes kind of change. It's funny. It's cool.
And in in New Vegas, you can get a gun that will play. It'll play the song when you draw the gun, and then it'll play the ending soundbite when you holster it. So there's been a few different Easter eggs. Generally is a character that I don't think will ever get fully fleshed out. And I guess that I'll leave it at that when it comes to the series. Will we see him? I think it would be really cool to see him, but I don't want that to be explained. I don't think.
You don't want him to be a character, right? Because it's
exactly. Yes.
It's more fun if it's just like a rando guy.
Like just randomly shows up, disappears.
Yeah. And
right.
The game kind of has like people have their theories about how it works. Like with the New Vegas one where Kevin's saying you find his son or whatever, and he has the gun. I've heard people say theories of like the mysterious strangers is like an organization behind the scenes, and they like choose you and give you the gun that makes the noise and shit. So like that was the whole thing with the like the mysterious stranger had his gun, he passed it down to his son. Now he's a mysterious stranger kind of thing. I don't know. There's different more aspects to it. It's kind of cool.
I like that. And so a sighting, I think it would be hilarious if in one of the scenes, one of the gunfights, some dude in a fedora just helps him out. And it never gets addressed. Maybe it gets addressed, but it never gets explained.
Right? Like how
that
funny
I'd be cool with.
How funny would it be if it was like a main scene too? Like let's say we're like starting out season 2 and it's like they start out with a thrilling gunfight or whatever and blah, blah, blah. And then it gets to like Lucy and Maximus. They look like they're about to get killed or something by somebody. Or it's like they're drawn down, like they're right in front of them about to blow their brains out or something. And then all of a sudden it's like, poof, the guy gets taken out, you know.
And you just hear the guitar string.
Yeah, you hear the noise. You see him in the corner. He runs off. They're like, what the fuck was that?
Who was that guy?
Oh, well.
I think you can easily do that. And they just move on. They don't even acknowledge it. They just go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think you can easily throw that in there.
There's got to be a way to do it. Hey, if you had asked me before season 1 if I had wanted the Vault Boy origin to be explained, I probably would have told you no. And they found a way to do that I was very interested in. So maybe they can include or introduce the stranger, but I really don't want to know the backstory to it.
VW has a fun one here. Use a famous cameo, like use a Clint Eastwood or somebody crazy, like super famous for a 5-second scene. Just
it should be Mel. It should be Mel Gibson, though, right?
Oh.
Like the whole series exists because of Mel Gibson in Mad Max. So
I mean, yeah, you might be onto something.
Clint Eastwood's the better cowboy, but I feel like maybe you get old crazy Mel to do it.
That would be a wild one.
It's a better story too. You know what I'm saying? Like they get Mel Gibson to do it. People will be talking about it. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, Vita might be on it. Maybe put him in the leather jacket and have him be a raider boss, and it can be like an other world. This is when Mad Max broke bad.
Well, like if they do New Vegas, there are certain factions there, like Caesar's Legion and NCR, the New California Republic or whatever, which is like an army kind of thing. And then the Strip people, obviously, that's a whole different faction too. But yeah, imagine he could be like Caesar from Caesar's Legion if they did Caesar, you know.
Dude, I'm glad you mentioned that, because now I might be reaching here. Okay, this could absolutely be me looking for something that isn't there, or it could have just been a clever nod by the set design, but did you notice in one of the flashbacks when they were on a Hollywood set that there were a couple of Rome Legionnaires, like there were actors, extras dressed as Roman soldiers, which I was wondering might potentially in the show universe open up, sort of the why and how those uniforms were around, because like the whole
You said where you saw that? I'm sorry, I missed that part.
in one of the flashbacks of the show,
Okay.
like where one of them where he's on a movie set, and I think he goes out and meets his wife for lunch or something like that. There's a couple of people walking around and they're dressed like extras from Ben-Hur or something, but they're in that Roman Legionnaire uniform, because that was always something I thought was odd about New Vegas. Like, I get a guy finding old books and being obsessed with Caesar. That part, I can understand that. But I was always wondering, like, how did they get the time authentic uniforms? Like, how did they go back
They
and
raided a Hollywood set? There you go.
And then so I'm like, well, in this show, it could just be that they discover them off the Hollywood set. Yeah.
Huh, that's interesting. I like that.
Maybe.
It's I like that the show's going in the direction of going to New Vegas. Like, we've been talking about that a lot. But I mean, just like the games, I want to see like the TV show do stuff that they haven't done before. Like, I like New Vegas, and obviously that gets people hyped and like coming back for another taste of it in season 2, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But I hope going forward that they let's show us some like spaces we haven't been to. Imagine if they go, south of the United States from where they're at in Vegas. They could go like Mexico or something, that's not that far of a stretch. They've never done, that kind of thing. But yeah, I want to see like different places in this universe, different real world places in the Fallout universe.
What places have they visited in game? Obviously, New Vegas is the easy one.
There's the Capital Wasteland. So that's Fallout 3 is basically Washington, D.C. 4 is, what is it? Boston. Yep. And then 76 is West Virginia. New Vegas is Vegas. 1 and 2, I believe, are California.
Yeah, I think so. And then like you go to some different places and some DLCs too. Like you go to Pittsburgh in a DLC, and it's like a fucking. I mean, am I remembering this right? It's like a arena thing, isn't it? Or something?
The pit, right?
Yeah, the pit. Yeah.
Oh, Operation Anchorage. I've seen.
Alaska is another one.
That one's cool.
Mentions. Yeah, that one.
I love that.
That's the one time you get to see like a power armor war, right? Because you go back and do the battle.
I love that. I love that aspect, dude. I love that it's in Alaska like that, because it makes sense. Obviously, that's close in proximity to them to get to China to get to the United States or whatever. That's the way they'd go. So I love that. I love that.
That is a battle they can revisit in future seasons.
That would be so dope.
What's the big mod that was about to come out? Where is it scheduled at? That got screwed up by the next gen update.
Is it Miami? No. There is a Miami mod. I don't think.
Fallout.
You could probably Google it if you.
Let's see.
Fallout London mod, V-dubs.
Mod, yeah, it's London.
Yeah,
That's
London.
it. It's London. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I got
Shadow also says stay in America. I'll play London. I'll play Fallout London.
Dude, I want Fallout Australia, dude. Imagine some fucking irradiated kangaroos and drop bears and
dingoes and shit.
I'll
you're
be
walking
just like
in the koala
Napoleon.
Falls.
Yeah. Imagine the
giant koala bear chasing your ass.
Dude, their animals already look irradiated in Australia. They already have 10-foot wide spiders. Are you kidding me?
You ever seen the Tasmanian devil pictures of like the disease they have right now that's almost going to make them extinct? Like they look like they've been irradiated.
Oh my god!
Australia is just Mad Max. Just Mad Max.
Yeah.
Bring Mel Gibson in. He can run it.
That would be wild. But yeah, give me Egypt, dude. I want to shoot a fat man at one of the pyramids. Just I won't save it, but I want to give me the ability to do that in a game.
Imagine that, like, because they do a lot of this fantastical, like, stuff in Fallout that doesn't really happen in the real world. So imagine if they took a twist on Egypt and, like, when the nukes hit, all those mummies that were sarcophagus, like sealed up in there, they get turned into ghouls because they were saved. They were saved by the pyramids, so the radiation brought them up. I don't know. I'm spitballing here, but I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, you can get real weird with it.
Third world Fallout. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, mummy ghouls. Yeah.
Mummy ghouls would be fun. I like this, dudes. Hire us, all right? Devs. Let us write some of these mods for you.
Well, the next Fallout game's a ways off because it's planned after the Elder Scrolls. That's their next big one. They just did Starfield in the fall. Yeah, now there's this huge love for Fallout. And everybody wants it. And they're like, well, actually, people have been calling for the next Elder Scroll games for what seems like a millennia at this point.
We're fucked by them, dude. We're so fucked by them because it's going to be forever until we get this Elder Scrolls game anyways. Okay.
Yeah, the Elder Scrolls game's a long ways off.
Right. And then we're not getting Fallout till after that. We're fucked. Like they want you. They did it right. Honestly. Like I don't want to say that Bethesda was doing like, 8D chess, but they released that Fallout 76 game and it sucked. They could have just shit it. They could have just left it behind. But they built it up, and then once this TV show came out, it blew up. Like they had it's funny, they never reached like 1 million concurrent players on that game. But
until recently.
Until the show came out. Then they hit 1 million concurrent players.
I saw that, yeah.
It's blowing up. Like they did that. I mean, that worked out for them. So now it's just, well, if you want Fallout, we've got an always online one that gets constantly updated. So eat on that.
With your friends.
Yeah.
I saw this too, VW, that they're talking about making it come out faster, but the problem is it's not even started yet.
Right. It's like, what does faster mean? It's like for them, a fast game is like 10 years, right?
Yeah. They just finished that Starfield DLC, and like, when did the last Elder Scrolls game came out? I mean, that was forever ago.
Can we talk about how if Starfield was like they had some of the Fallout like charm to it, it would actually be a good fucking game. Like that's where Starfield sucks so bad, is that like the fun from Elder Scrolls and the fun from Fallout that makes those universes feel lived in and exciting. There's like none of that in Starfield. You don't have different factions. There's not aliens or anything. Like, why not? There's none of the charm and the jokey and the fun of any of the, like, they did I'm so mad that we get Starfield instead of.
I was excited for that game, and then like it just kind of was meh. And I was like, I don't got an unlimited amount of time in my life.
Yeah, right.
Skyrim, yeah. So we say they're a 10-year between games. Skyrim came out in 2011. Was released on Xbox, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. So they've missed the whole generation now.
Yeah,
that's right.
Oh, they didn't miss it because they just re-release it on every single fucking thing.
Oh,
every time.
If you want to try to own every version of Skyrim, you'd spend like $500+.
Oh goodness.
There was a funny one. Shadow humor. The GTA 6 is not wrong. When GTA 6 comes out, everybody's going to lose their mind.
I mean, GTA 6 could come out and everybody's going to forget about anything going on. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good, yeah. People are going to have to get like feeding tubes put in. They're going to forget to eat.
I guess we should get back on
Player One out here.
Back on the Fallout track, though. We were when I was asking you about these characters, we talked about Maximus a little bit. I thought they did a good job with the Vault Dweller lady. Lucy was like a good. I feel like she was a really good representation of a player character, like coming out of the vault. If you're playing Fallout for the first time, you don't really know what to expect. She doesn't really know what to expect, and then craziness ensues. And she kind of, I mean, people are like surprised. I feel like the vibe online seems like they're surprised that she would catch on that fast, but it's like that's what you do in the game. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're going from coming out of the vault with like a pool cue and like and the standard like little 10mm with, you know, barely any ammo. And then later on you're like power armor and all this jazz. So you don't start out with much. I feel like she was a good kind of representation of that experience.
I agree with that, and the way it changed over time, her attitude, the way it changed, I think is indicative too. I mean, some people maybe want to go in and grief right away or just do a bad guy run, but I think generally speaking, I think most people when they play these games set out to be the protagonist, to be the good guy. But with Fallout, no matter what, if you play enough of it, eventually you're going to get to those quests where it gets a little gray, or maybe there is no absolute good guy answer, which is one of the things that I love about the franchise, is that they have all those little other options that you can play. So I like that with the characterization too, Danny, that she went from really felt earned by the end of the season that she was the way that she was, and she kept trying to do what they were essentially raised to do in the vault, right? They all thought they were bringing their society up to the wasteland. It's like she gained speech skill over
that made me laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Her stats went up. Yeah, she leveled up a couple times on the way.
I thought it was a good character. What do you think? I've heard people lob out, and this is one that, you know, James can get in on too, because it's not related to Fallout at all, but I've heard people call the Vault Dweller a Mary Sue. James, would you agree with that? Like, that was she too good? Should she have screwed up more and gotten more things wrong, or is that just a incorrect assessment in your opinion?
I've never thought of it that way. I like how she's portrayed and how she's a goody two shoe and is just oblivious to literally everything. And I think if we were trapped in and raised like that, we were a cousin fucker too, we probably would too.
Exactly.
Like, your only sexual relationship with your cousin. I think I'm okay with it. I never even thought of it like that, Kevin, to be really quite honest with you. I'd never seen that. So I don't know. I think I'm okay with that. I liked it. I liked the way she was portrayed. I liked it.
It lends itself to that old school vibe, doesn't it? Like, that's how I always kind of envisioned it. Like, when you think about the old school, like the vaults and how that vibe is, and the before the bombs dropped or whatever, that vibe. I feel like her like smiley, happy, okie dokie, like faking it kind of thing is from that aesthetic. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's at least how I felt about it.
I like that. And VDub adds a nice one too. He said she explains her skill set in her first few scenes and it matches her decisions. She explains 3 skills that match your game: repair, speech, and something else. So yeah, again, that also parallels really well with the character creation, right? You get to set up, you get to put your skill points and choose either your perk, or it depends. Each game's slightly different with how you do that, but Lucy got fucked up. Yeah, so and then Headbug had a good point too. She'd only be a Mary Sue if there's no character development from her at all, and that to me is a big point, because I mean, she gets plenty of things wrong. You know, VDub mentioned earlier the bridge scene. That's a speech check in one of the games where her being so naive almost gets them killed early on, and so she absolutely grows in different ways. And I agree with Danny. It did feel pretty authentic. It's what I would imagine someone hopping fresh out of a vault would feel like, and how other people would treat them and try to take advantage of them. So I thought it was a good character. Another character that we haven't talked about much of, I wanted to, you know, maybe just throw it out there. What did you guys think of the Doctor and the whole fusion core? I mean, that was a pretty, like, I didn't see that coming, that this dude was going to get his leg blown off and she was going to be carrying a guy's head around that had.
Speak of gory scenes, when they put the leg, so awesome. Not where I thought they were just going to like prosthetic leg, fix him, Nah, they grind that thing to meat. Just it's gone. That is a
cool.
nasty scene.
I was like, what the fuck is this contraption? Burn, like pencil sharpen his fucking leg.
That was
so cool.
Whoa, yeah.
Was that like a nod to VATS, you think, Danny? Because that was the first thing. I mean, I know you mentioned Vida mentioned that perk, but I also was thinking, like, what's a way that you could sort of subtly show that a gun or a character is using VATS? And I was like, well,
their limb gets blown off.
Yeah, that kind of, but yeah,
I like that.
Maybe I'm reaching. That's might be a downside to being a super fan of the series, is you maybe fill some of the blanks in yourself.
But so VATS are
makes
like
my experience more enjoyable. So I don't care.
Yes, VATS would be the that phenomenon is like, I don't know what it stands for, but in the regular games, it's like a
Vault Tech assisted
pause
targeting system.
There you go. So it's like a pause, and then it shows you, all of your enemies' limbs and shit, and you can target each one with different percentages. In that always online game, they change it a little bit, and it's like, rather than it being paused because it's in an always lived in, always online world, you get the same map of like, it highlights different parts of their body, but they can keep coming at you. So it's kind of interesting how they've changed that.
Vida, so the ghoul shooting up the town is similar to VATS.
Okay, yeah.
That's true too. Yeah. Makes sense because the way he kind of action heroes that.
The ghoul was like the best character though, right? I mean, I feel
we
like we talked about everybody else, but he's the best.
Shout out. He is
made the show for me. Great actor. Like just in
Walton
general.
Goggins,
and
shout out. Awesome.
It's like his character really gives the whole world a more like deeper lore and like experience to it all, I feel like, because he's one that was here before, and he was like influential before too. It's his character's so interesting because he was like involved with the vaults and he was famous before and all that shit. So that guy's
played a cowboy, like
right.
So he
he's
has
like
this
Pit Boy guy.
Yeah, he knows how to be in this,
or the Vault Boy. I mean,
in this whole situation.
I really like that they tie his whole story back at the very end. In the very end when he comes around and he's like, I'm trying to find my family. Like, where are they? And I'm like, it ties this whole story together. Like, why is he still alive? Why does he want to be alive? What's the point of fighting in this wasteland? And all of a sudden he's like, I'm trying to find my family. I'm like, oh shit. Like, I actually didn't see that coming. So I assumed his family just got fucking vaporized.
Are there many characters in the game that lasted that long? That were like pre-war that still stuck around? I'm having a hard time like thinking about notable ones in the game. Obviously, there are some characters that are ghouls. There's tons of those that are ghouls or like super mutants that used to be people, but like there's actual people that have survived over.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's like Mr. House and the Robo Brains. Other than that, for the most part, I think it's ghouls or whoever else was any of these vaults that were.
B-Dub says Mr. House is still alive, and then he's or is his family ghouls too? If like that'd be one of the few ways they're alive.
His daughter would have to be, right? Unless
if his daughter was out there with them when they ride the horse away
unless that's not how he became a ghoul. I mean, it's the most reasonable explanation given what we've been seeing, but
does anybody
pull something out?
V-Dub asked about the coffin scene. Does that make sense?
Anybody? The tree guy, Harold.
Who's the tree guy?
So another guy from the before times that.
Okay, he's not a show guy.
No,
he's a video game guy.
I don't think he'll be able to work that into the show. That'll be season 4 or 5 though. People have to be really invested.
We might by like season 10 we'll get to the next Fallout game. We got time. I understand the coffin scene is like somebody captured him and then buried his ass. That's that's how I understood the coffin scene. Not like they wanted to introduce some kind of spooky, scary. Like I assume somebody trapped him, buried him, and then they're those guys were freeing him to try to get help, and then he goes.
Yeah, there's a throwaway line in the show where they explain it, but I think it's so easily forgotten because the ghouls introduction, like that's the memorable part of the scene. As they're walking up, the leader of the bandits says that somebody, and I don't know who it is, maybe they'll come back, somebody had him captured and they dug him up once a year to torture him. So
yeah, that's right.
The assumption, I imagine, is that he killed someone that somebody loved as part of a bounty or something, and this guy, being the vindictive crime boss, whoever he is, just keeps him on ice, so to speak. That's why he has the rat away drip, and then just was because he says something about he digs him up once a year to cut off a fresh piece or something like that. But
that's right. Yeah.
Then they do the feral chicken thing.
Drips.
I forgot. Honestly, it's kind of what I think you said it, Kevin. How like you remember the scene, that first scene he's introduced in, because I didn't ever think about the coffin thing again or the rad drip again. That didn't cross my mind. So
I forgot about the drip. It's it's so quick that you see. I forget that it's just a bag hanging there, just dripping in to keep them alive.
Yeah, they don't do too much with it until the ghoul's trying to use her as bait to catch the fish, and then he breaks all his vials and they have to go to the super duper mart. That's when she hits him with the golden rule, motherfucker. So they don't really lay it out. So yeah, they show it to you at the very beginning, but yeah, his introduction is so epic. You don't really remember all the details. Then they don't talk about it again until, and that's another one where it's like, that's a pretty wild, there's a lot of wild shit going on around that part of the story where it's kind of easy to forget some of the smaller details.
Yeah, there's going to have to be some explanation of what the serum is at some point. Or maybe
or not the serum. It's different.
I think that'll be a plot point. Yeah. I really do think it's probably that serum stuff is probably the forced evolution virus thing, and that's how
I think
get it into the TV show, because it is like there are certain things that are staples. I was kind of looking at our list here to see if there was anything I didn't think of, but there are certain key things that are like staples in Fallout games. We already talked about like the Vault Boy, the Pit Boy, the power armor and shit, and blah blah blah. And maybe not as prominent as them because it's not like a physical thing that you can see, but like in terms of the story, certainly that FEV is like just, it's on par with those things. It's like it's the catalyst of like a lot of the bad guys or catalyst, I guess is the wrong word, but it's like the thing that a lot of the bad guys in the Fallout universe have or using or doing something with,
Yeah, it's the crux of the first game, I think. Vita mentioned the tree guy earlier. His partner, what is he called? The Master or something? The guy in the first Fallout game whose goal is to make everyone super mutants. And spoiler alert, the best way, or one of the best ways to convince him otherwise, is to point out, you can discover throughout the game that super mutants are all infertile. And so you can let him know that if he continues to force the FEV onto people, that everyone will die because those super mutants aren't able to reproduce. So that's how you stop him from his master plan. But yeah, from the very first game, it's been a huge piece of the lore that I don't know if it has been addressed as much. I don't know much about what's in 76. I'm looking forward to playing that. Honestly, probably once we're done, I think I'll be hopping on 76, having a fun old time.
I'm going to interrupt this show just to address this comment. Shadow Humor. It's crazy to think how the Halo show could have been good if Master Chief kept his fucking helmet on. In all of the history of everything, the easiest casting ever for fucking the Master Chief is to never take his fucking helmet off and cast the video game voice actor. It's so easy. God, I'm going to go on a fucking tangent. It's so easy. It's so easy.
Like
and they
people
completely
care.
botched it.
They act like people care that it's some like hot guy or something.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
don't
nobody
give a
gives a
shit.
fuck. Keep the helmet on the whole time. We would love that.
Yeah,
Especially
totally
after
the voice actor
three-
is so badass.
3 seasons of The Mandalorian have already proven that this could work.
Yeah.
Right? That you didn't need to show his face.
I can't. It's one of the most mind-boggling things in the universe that they made a Halo TV show and we're like, ooh, I think we're going to recast the voice actor because we need to show his face and his voice isn't badass enough. It just, I got rant over. That fucking show can go to hell. I refuse to ever watch it.
some of these video game properties getting changed into like TV and movies and stuff just like suffer from the curse. It is a cursed thing to do. Take video games and make them into something else like that, a movie or a television.
They think they have to change stuff. They don't think they can be unapologetically them. And shows like The Last of Us and now Fallout have, and even to more extent, the animated show on Netflix, the League of Legends show is really good too. I can't think of the name.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what the hell is the name of that?
Called? It's because they waited fucking 3 years to do another season of that shit, which is so good.
Arcane
Yes.
is so good. Yeah.
Oh. So good. So good. And they've waited like that shit came out like during the pandemic, I think, or maybe right after. I don't know.
Yep.
It's been years.
So
I'm pissed. But yeah.
Yes, Harles. Arcane, yes.
You named the 3 that I think have done it well so far. I mean, obviously Fallout.
Those are the 3 best. It's not even close.
If I had to rank it, I would say that The Last of Us was my favorite. And it's like there's something about The Last of Us. It's an HBO show or whatever. So it's like it's a different caliber. It's like an actual show you're going to get invested in, just like any of those other HBO shows. I feel like to me, it seems like less of a video game than any of the 3.
It's very real. Like that is grounded in reality, and they spent a lot of time making it real. Like it could seem like it could happen.
I think that is the best, and I think that Arcane comes. Fallout is interesting to me. I think it's like 3 for me now. If I had to rank those in sequence like that, because I think Fallout has a potential to get better, and like there's some things they missed and goofed up on and blah, blah, blah. There's some gripes you can have with it. But yeah, I think that The Last of Us and Arcane almost did what they were trying to do perfectly. Like there's no problems with almost any of it.
Oh, Vita brings up a good one.
93 Mario. 10 out of 10.
I will also shout out the Castlevania shows on Netflix. I really like those too.
I've heard, yeah.
I've never watched those. That's interesting.
Me either. There's a few of them on the list. I've heard mixed reviews on Twisted Metal. I think that's on Peacock, right? But
I hear that that's
I have not seen
but
that.
I don't want to watch it. It's like I'm not convinced. I don't know. It's Anthony
I'm the same
Mackie,
way.
right?
I'm like, it's Anthony Mackie. It's Captain America now.
It just seems like, how could that actually be good? Are you serious? But then I've heard that it's good.
Exactly.
It's really good, but I also heard it like it's not really like the game. Like the game is, how do you make a show based off that game? I think it's a completely different story. Like I don't think it's like it at all.
They better have the clown guy, the Sweet Tooth or whatever. If they don't have him,
Sweet Tooth is in it. Sweet Tooth is in it. Yes.
Okay.
He is in it. I do know that. I've never watched it. I do know he's in it.
Yeah. Otherwise, we were talking about mummies earlier. Twisted Metal, without that, is just a corpse with the name on it. You know. It's not Twisted Metal.
dDweeb brings up a good one here too. They're making a Borderlands movie.
Dude, I mean,
why would they ruin it with Kevin Hart?
It looks so bad, dude. That movie is going to be so bad. I
haven't watched the trailer or anything.
Suffering from the curse. They got Cate Blanchett as Lilith or whatever, which like she's supposed to be like a young character, and it looks like Granny Joe is out there playing fucking Lilith. They got Kevin Hart as Roland, who's the love interest, and it's like, so you've got Cate Blanchett and then Kevin Hart being like, doing his little. The guy's a
Kevin Hart things.
He's a serious character in the game. He's like a military dude. He's the one Borderlands character that isn't funny. And they fucking put Kevin Hart as him.
Vita, I'm surprised it isn't The Rock and Jack Black with them there in every movie.
Well, Jack Black is in it. He's Claptrap.
Oh, yeah, he is. He is.
Jack Black's Claptrap. He is in it.
So there just needs to be a cameo appearance from The Rock somewhere, and you get all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be awful. Yeah, that gonna give me Uncharted vibes.
Oh,
What
speak of another bad video game movie.
Hey,
They're all bad, pretty
let's
much.
cast
Right?
Mark
Yeah, I
Wahlberg.
mean the majority of them are no good.
Oh my god.
I mean the Mario movie, which I think is good, it's just Chris Pratt with an Italian
Dude,
accent, like a
I
fake
will say
Italian
that
accent.
I liked that. I guess
I
it's
did
a
too.
kids movie. It's a kids movie though, so it's not like I don't know. I guess I don't consider it like I don't rank it on a list like that.
Yeah,
Because it's just like
Take
a
it for what
fun
it
little
is.
thing. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was all right.
Remember the couple years ago when they were making the Sonic movie and they didn't make him look like Sonic from the games and the whole outcry over that, and they had to redo all the VFX on it because he looked like a fucking weird looking. He looked like something ripped right out of Fallout.
I never
Blue
watched it
Arms.
because of that, and then never did.
I've never watched it.
I didn't. I wasn't gonna watch it because of that controversy, and then I've never went on to watch it after that. You know, they lost me.
Same. And I had Lou from Dweeb's very own try to tell me multiple times. I think there's multiple podcast episodes of him talking it up and being like, you should really go see it. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to,
not
though.
doing it. Not fucking doing it.
But I hear it's good.
Not
One
fucking
of
leaving.
these days I might watch it, but won't be today. Tomb Raider. We got some good nominees in here for video game movies that people like. I see Tomb Raider, Max Payne.
V-Dub says those Metro games. Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting.
I don't know anything about that. I've never heard of it. I don't know anything about
It's like
that.
it's like a shooter. I don't know. It's hard. I never played them, but I'm aware of what I've seen.
Oh, like the Metro Underground.
Yeah.
I instantly went Metroid, and I was like, oh, they're putting.
I was thinking
Samus on
Metroid too, and I was like, wait a second, that's Nintendo. They wouldn't.
Like I probably won't watch that.
Metroid could feel wild. It could be pretty atmospheric. Metroid could be kind of cool, but
so
I never talked.
Are Bethesda gonna do more television shows besides Fallout? You think they would ever dare doing like a Starfield or a Elder Scrolls? I think Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
I think the Elder Scrolls one is the one.
Dude, you call the show. You just call the show Dragonborn or something. You know what I mean? Like it's boom right there. You got
like in the Elder Scrolls games. I like the gods or whatever because you like never really get to see them and interact with them much in the game. You know, it's like a quest here and a quest there. So I want to see some of those like crazy gods from the Elder Scrolls universe in like a television show. I think that would be fucking dope if they did.
I think if they were going to do
that
one, I think it would be that. I think it would be Elder Scrolls would be the one on the list.
Speaking of things that would be fucking dope, Shadow has a great thoughts on a Metal Gear Solid series. Easy for me to say, pal. That if it done well, it would be one of my favorite things of all time. You know, we talked about earlier. I think when James
you could do those
promo this,
so fun.
He's saying Fallout was my favorite gaming franchise, and it's up there. But and it might be number one. Metal Gear Solid's right up there too.
Fun Metal Gear Solid tidbit is I've played them all except the last one. I've played it very briefly, but I always liked the name Raiden, so I was like, I took that name. I was like, if I ever have my firstborn kid, I want him to be named that. And then my asshole brother went along, accidentally had kids in high school. Turned out it was not one, it was two of them. So now one of them has that name and he stole it from me. So fuck my brother. But my godchild is named Raiden, so I'll take it.
God damn, dude. See, I feel you, man. I can't. When I go,
it's my fault. He beat me to the punch.
Yeah, I gotta keep my suitcase under watchful eye. My brother take my shit too. Be like, yeah, that's fine. You don't need it. He's like, I want some of your retro shit from back in the olden days. He's like, I like the clothes from the 1900s. Let me get some of your old snapbacks. You gotta be careful, man. Brothers, they'll steal from you.
Snake Eater is. I fucking love that game. Snake Eater is awesome.
I would be scared of a Metal Gear television show, or it'd probably have to be movies, and I would be nervous about it because, like, if they did it just as like a spy thriller thing and maybe simplified it a bit, like, because it's very convoluted. You know,
Yeah,
whole
you have to
series is very
simplify. I mean,
wild.
there's a damn vampire in the game, guys.
Like it would be.
Well,
it
there's
would
a
be
guy
M. Night
possessed by
Shyamalan
his
on some
hand.
crazy ass other level shit. You know, if
Yeah.
they started making the movies like very close to what the games are. So that's where I think that one would get iffy for me. Because I feel like if they go full spy thriller thing or whatever, and they leave out some of the complicated bits, then it loses its charm, and people wouldn't like it as much.
It's
They'd be like,
wacky.
well, it's just some spy thriller movie at that point. But then if they lean too far into it, I fear that people are like, what the fuck is even going on in this shit? Like, why does like every character look like this one guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and why all the bad guys have these weird names and goofy power. And then that's the other part. For me, I think the biggest challenge would be who plays Snake, because that
it's another Metal Gear.
David Hayter is such a
it's a Halo problem.
iconic role, a voice actor. How could you would be hard pressed. Now, if it were the 80s and Kurt Russell were 40 years younger, I'd say, well, you don't have a problem because you got the guy that he's based off of. But I mean, hey, maybe you call him and Goldie Hawn's kid, right? The not Captain America.
Yeah,
maybe he can do it.
Vita brings up one of my favorite boss battles in that whole game, where it's a sniper for Metal Gear Solid 3, where you can just not play the game for a week and he'll die because he's so old.
I always loved that about Metal Gear. Like, there's also the one in the, I don't know which game it is, an earlier game where it's like the Psycho Mantis boss, where you can
first game
memory card in a different slot or whatever.
He blacks your screen out and you think your TV's broken. Like, they do some cool shit. In the remake, I never played the original. I played the remake, the Twin Snakes remake on GameCube, and he reads your memory card and he starts talking about Zelda and shit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I like to you like to play Zelda, you fucking freak.
I love that. They've always done stuff like that. It's kind of cool. Like meta stuff. Yeah.
Agreed on the Stargate take there.
Give me an animated Halo for sure. I'd take that. And you could use our boy.
I do love some of those little quirky things you can do in Metal Gear. But I agree with Shadows. It would have to be well paced, explained correctly. And I think they would have to, hiding in the box. I think they would have to.
How are they going to do that?
Make some
just do it, just like Fallout. Just do it,
right? Like, I think you probably go away with the whole Revolver Ocelot being not obsessed, possessed by liquid, and then after a while, doesn't he at some point reveal that was just a fake too? Like, it gets
I don't remember exactly. It gets really weird.
So convoluted.
Yeah, back and forth.
I think people have always been confused about the main character himself. Like, since you don't like, everybody thinks that Snake is just this guy, but it's actually not. Like, it's not. It's like multiple guys. It's a guy.
Yep.
It's a different guy that's older. It's like, I don't know. It's so
I think
convoluted.
This is a very important question. Would they have the exclamation points over the guys' heads in the game?
Like they would have
the sound,
to have that sound as like
the sound,
like the alarm is just like that ring over and over again.
Snake's a clone. Like, and then he's got a brother that's also a clone but doesn't look like dad or him, who dies early, and then they use him. Like, it's fucking wild.
Right. Oh, it would be fun. He said Shadows says,
you were trying to
Snake
if you're trying to do a down to earth movie, like a kind of based in reality, Snake Eater's the one you have to do. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Man, I would watch it, and
I'd watch it for sure.
Either there would be no in between. I'd either love it or hate it, because it's either going to be so good or it's just going to be. I'll be like Danny's gatekeeping friend and be like, this is an affront to the video game franchise I love so much.
I saw a tweet today, which is funny. We're talking about this, that compared the Phantom Pain to Pokemon, where in Pokemon you collect Pokemon, and Phantom Pain you just collect those soldiers.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. You just airlift them out or whatever you do. Like, it's just it's just Pokemon with people.
Yeah. And there's a lot going on. That's another convoluted story, but you could absolutely. There's plenty of stuff I think that could probably work as a series. Yeah, a Liquid Snake is a brother of a clone who doesn't look like either clone. Yeah, nobody hits 100%. Not even Kojima.
I think that's why they'll never do it as a TV show or movie, though, is Kojima. He's like already done.
Yeah.
Like,
He's gone.
Like his way of making a movie or a television show is how he did it in the games. That's why he does these, like all of his games are
40-minute
like that.
cutscenes.
Yeah, or like just these cinematic wild ass things already. So I don't think that he'll ever have a. I mean, never say never, I guess, because somebody could convince him, I'm sure. But maybe that's what Jordan. Maybe that's what Jordan Peele and him are doing.
Oh yeah, he's all connected in Hollywood. I love
this.
this.
Everybody
comment.
loves Kojima.
Yeah, he's the man. He tweets like a white lady on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
No, I've never seen. Have you guys seen this? The video that shows one of the Walking Dead seasons is exactly the same story as Toy Story 3. I have not seen
the baseball bat guy. So that means Negan is the bear. Is laughs or hugs a lot or whatever. The pink bear. Right?
I've never seen that.
I mean,
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
it makes sense. I guess I'm with you.
Oh my god, I hope somebody's made a video of that.
Post that. Also, Shadow Humor's right here. The Silent.
Oh wait,
Hill
he said you ever see the video? Yes, thank you, Vita. Please link that.
Negan is the bear. Yeah. Silent Hill had so much potential, and then Kojima left, and it's been gone ever since.
Oh, that's another favorite game series of mine.
Same
there
intro.
Were some really good ones.
Scene on the truck too. Very interested in this. I'm gonna have to watch this video. Back to what we came here for, folks.
Oh, that's right, Fallout.
Yeah. Last topic I had on here. Actually, Kev did the run of the show, guys. I didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm the one you blame. All right. If we
predictions for season 2. I think we were all in agreement that, the death claws are coming because they dropped the head. What else? Do you guys have any idea where this is going to go? Obviously, it's going to Vegas. You guys, I don't know. I'm going to leave this to you two because I don't know. Like I've said earlier, I don't know shit about shit.
Time to get on the speculation station. Danny, what do you think, man? I'll throw out something I think we'll see some more of, or at least more explanations of in season 2. They're going to get a lot more NCR backstory. What is there? So there's something that you are looking forward to?
NPR or NCR?
New Californian Republic.
Oh, got you. Yeah. That was Shady Sands, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I do think that they're gonna. That's perfect, right? New California Republic. You dealt with them in New Vegas too. That's where it is. So it makes sense. All that.
And you're probably saving the Enclave, right? Like that's one of the biggest bads of the universe. So
I think
we'll probably introduce some other people first, maybe.
I think we'll see that like the Enclave maybe is the big behind the scenes one that's like pulling the strings of everything, maybe. But you never know. I guess it could be any of the. Like there's multiple organizations across the games that could be like the puppet master, as they say, they could Brotherhood of Steel could be that way in some capacity. The Enclave, maybe they bring in the synths or whatever with what was that called in 4? It was the Institute or whatever. Yeah. So like NCR would be cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything specific. Obviously,
thanks, V-Dub.
If we're going to New Vegas, then there's going to be all that stuff that we've already talked about. NCR, Caesar's Legion, maybe. Yes Man, Mr.
Maybe
House.
some cannibals. Maybe a little casino run by cannibals. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I hope that that's a plot. Like, I hope that they do some like charming casino guy or something that gets involved in the mix.
I know it's so sad. I hope that we won't get Benny, or at least not the real Benny.
You don't know. You never know.
Well, the voice actor's not here.
Oh,
gotcha. We could have had Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry. I forgot about
Benny. Would have been really sick.
Isn't that like the casting that you never like? You just didn't know.
Yeah.
Like when I heard that, I was like, "What the fuck?" It was Matthew Perry that played him.
Yeah.
So
blew my. I think I played through that game twice before I learned that, and I had to go back and fire up the game just to be like, well, no, it's not. You're lying to me. Why'd you change your voice?
I want there to be a friendly iBot.
The iBot
that joins
Ooh.
the group. That's like a quirky iBot that maybe uses like radio, like a bumblebee from Transformers kind of thing.
Oh, I see. Uses that. That's how it communicates.
Yeah, a little
Okay.
cute
I
guy. Because
I
they
like
need
what you're doing there.
these shows sometimes need that little like the little cute mascot. You know
We
what I
know all
mean?
about that. Every
Oh.
Star Wars show has one of those. You know,
That's
gotta have a
not
little
real.
droid or
That is
animal.
not true at all, Kevin. I can fuck with this little iBot.
Yeah, the little
Kinda
iBot could be
wild.
like a nice little a little buddy character.
Is he's good or is he bad?
I mean, he's
Depends
a
on who's
companion.
programming him.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's a companion in is that 3 or is it no? It's
New
is it
Vegas, I think.
Yeah, it's New
Mhm.
Vegas that you get them because I think you shoot them in 3. Maybe I think there's
You can shoot them in a
'cause
lot of games.
yeah because the Enclave I think in 3 uses some of those iBots to broadcast and stuff like that. So you could do whatever you wanted with them, but it would be cool.
Mhm.
The companion idea, yeah, I want to see super mutants. I know that we've talked about. It was cool to see the voice of the iBot in the show. That was really cool. What's that actor's name though? What We Do in the Shadows guy, who's fucking hilarious. Seeing
I
the
don't
voice
know.
actor, the guy who played
Oh.
Codsworth.
Yeah.
That was a good addition. I agree with Shadow on that one. Oh man, I can't think of his name, but fuck, he is hilarious.
I'm looking
And
it up.
if you've never seen What We Do in the Shadows,
I've
watch
heard
it.
it's awesome.
Steven Russell, is that who I'm talking? No, that don't make sense. You said Codsworth's character or Codsworth's
Yeah.
voice actor?
Yeah, the voice acting. Remember that he complains that he sold the rights of his voice for like 200,000. You see him in the flashback. He's Walter's actor friend.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What is
The
his
British
name?
dude.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Berry. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there you go.
Maybe that's why, because we were just talking about Matthew Perry. Maybe that's why I couldn't
Matthew
think of
Perry.
Matthew Perry. Thanks, Charles.
There
Yeah,
was
Matt
something.
Berry.
There was something that I had thought of, and it slipped my mind. A New Vegas. Because if they're going to New Vegas, you can kind of think like, what did they do? What did we do in New Vegas? What are like the more unique things? iBot was one of the ones that I had thought of.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of like, are there any iconic like characters that we haven't spoken on? I guess they're all in the strip, right? Most of them.
Most of them are in the strip. One of my favorite New Vegas locations that's not in the strip that hopefully we at least get to see them walk by is Novak with the dinosaur.
Right, yeah. And you get the ghoul companion from there too, don't you?
Yeah, that's
Like
the
that.
one where they need you to go clear out the ghouls, but if you talk to them, you don't have to. Yeah,
Is that the rocket ship one?
You get the companion. You actually get the guard from Novak, the sniper, the dude who will shoot the Legion on sight. So you got to be careful where you take him. That guy is who you get from going to Novak. So that would be cool to see some characters like that. I would have a lot of fun with that.
What
The
about?
Great Khans?
Do you think they'll involve the aliens at any point?
Oh, who was it? Was it Shadow that mentioned that earlier? That
Like
there's a UFO in
Thetans or
Fallout 3?
something?
Oh, that's right. They do have that in
Because there's like a DLC where you get to go up to their ship and they have like specimens of like every kind of irradiated enemy and humans and shit up in their ship. So like aliens are a canon thing in Fallout for sure. They're in every game. There's
That's
always
odd.
like a crashed ship, and they're like the standard alien too. Green with the bubble helmets or whatever, like they're little green Martians. With ray guns and shit. Like that would be cool to see too.
I think that one would be I hope it's more of just like an Easter egg reference though. I don't know if I want like a whole
Full on
like
alien.
season 4 is when we learn about that the aliens were actually the ones that dropped the bomb and it's like wait too far go back.
Liberty Prime.
Ooh,
What's Liberty Prime?
You remember, James, how he told you that the Brotherhood of Steel were very upset at the idea that mankind could create machines that would kill mankind and destroy it. So they wanted to make sure nobody could do that. Well, Liberty Prime is like a giant Gundam robot that those guys built and made. Well, I think the American government built it.
It looks like if you ever saw that old school anime Big O, that's like this giant fucking,
Or the Iron Giant.
or the
If
Iron
you're
Giant. It is
if you're
the
a
Iron.
Disney kid, yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think of that. It is the Iron Giant. I'm just an anime nerd, but it is the Iron Giant. Like that is Liberty Prime for sure. Except they, you know, when they rebuild him, they like slap
Oh
the
shit!
American
Yeah.
flag coat of paint on there or whatever,
Mhm.
right?
This is Liberty
Okay.
Prime.
I get what you're saying here.
But I love him because he's like stomping on cars and shooting lasers, and he's like, "Communists will die," or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
he's
just popping out patriotic one-liners. Yeah, that would be cool. I really want to see Caesar's Legion. I think if I had to pick one thing from New Vegas that I
Psychos.
want to see incorporated, it would be, there are so many little factions of bad guys, but like we don't need the powder gangers, all right? We don't need dudes who just throw dynamite at you. But we could, you know, the Legion would be something that I think would be really cool and can open up a whole bunch of different storylines. You can learn about the worst of the worst. And I hope Shadow is right about this. I think I heard those rumors too. A BioShock series. I would watch.
I would love to
Shit.
see people's reaction to the twist at the end of BioShock. That is one of the all-time twists in a game.
I mean, they could legitimately do that whole, like the whole series. Like they could do the first one. I mean, maybe as a season or two. Like the first two games would be more closely like tied together. Maybe that's season 1 and 2 or whatever. But then when they go, they could even do Infinite and like do it in a different place. Yeah. It could be like a fresh take on it. And then at the end, they're like, oh, by the way, these are all connected, and then go on from there too. It'd be sweet. They could do that.
What's the quote? Is it, would you kindly? Oh my God. Seeing that.
Would you kindly? Yeah.
Would you kindly? I don't know if it's a Game of Thrones-esque twist at the end of season 1, but man, like people would lose their fucking minds over that.
Here's my thing though. I want to see a show about the fall of Rapture because the video game is dope and you can always eventually get there. But like there's so much more of that story that could be told that by the time you get to Infinite, maybe that's just its own spinoff. Like maybe that's a Better Call Saul situation. And you're in Colombia on a different show because there's so much you could do in Rapture that I think you could take your time with that and be in there for a few seasons.
I think we missed a question from Babs, and I'm not sure what it is. So why don't we should shout her out here. Can someone DM me about the dad thing? She's like seriously, and she's stressed right now about her question about the dad from Fallout. And I'm not even sure what it is.
Are we talking about the mysterious stranger thing? Yeah, I'll find it. I was just hearing about. I watched a video about it not too long ago. Oh, did her dad leave her? That one. No, she got kidnapped, or he got kidnapped. Remember?
He got kidnapped. Yes.
Oh shoot, she hasn't watched. I'm asking her if she remembers. She's only watched the first 3. Sorry. Oops. Yeah. Spoilers. Her dad. We talk about that. Okay. So the dad was kidnapped because of some bad guy things that the dad did about 20 something years ago involving Shady Sands in the NCR. So it turns out that the dad had, mom and dad at one point had gotten a divorce, and when dear old dad went to go bring the family home, they didn't want to come back.
Oh, there's a fucking,
which was my plot hole actually from earlier. He was happy when they carried him away. Also, how does he not know who Moldaver is? Like,
so let's that in the doc. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we completely forgot about this. Yeah, so there's a topic. One, I want to touch on the fact that Moldaver's just walking around with the zombie version of his wife. That's wild.
Yep, wild.
Almost implied like they were a thing. 2, how is Moldaver alive? Let's talk about that. That was on my list of.
She was around in the before time, so that means maybe at some point she made her own version. Maybe she has her own cryogenic freezing chamber or something where she went to sleep for 200 years because she's the same age as the ghoul and as Hank, but
it looks quite a bit better.
Hank, we know, was in a sleeping tube for how long, and the ghoul is the ghoul. So how the hell is she there? And also, you mean to tell me that Hank goes, all right, major spoilers, Babs. If you don't want to know, like the bigot, like the whole point of the show, we really appreciate you being here. But you might want to check out now before I spoil the whole
throw
thing.
This one right here. This is a major one.
So when mom leaves and goes to Shady Sands, and it's really the fact that Moldaver kept mom's feral ghoul around implied to me that they were more than friends, that they were a thing, right?
That's how I got that. Yeah, I took that the same way that they were lovers and fell in love. I agree.
So I
she
took
says
it
she's
that
good. It helps her anxiety.
Perfect. There we go. So mom leaves the vault, takes the kids with her, goes lesbian, falls in love with Moldaver. They're living together. Dad goes to get his family back. Mom says, "No, man, I'm lesbian now." Okay. I know what I like. This is me now. You need to respect me. This dude pulls a Gap band and drops a fucking bomb on her. So much so that
he's so mad. Talk about a lover's quarrel.
Yeah, she gets irradiated.
You won't come back to me. I'm blowing the world up.
But he doesn't know the face of the woman that his wife left him for. Bullshit. The dude got so mad that he was cucked that he blew up a whole town. And you mean to tell me that obsessive piece of shit doesn't know the face of the woman that he was left for? No way. Well, he is a hothead.
He also is such a dick. These are all correct. Yes.
I mean, that is a curious question. I guess that's just the
curious.
That's one that we got to deal with, huh?
Yeah. Maybe he just never saw her. I don't know. Maybe that will get explained. But that one felt like a bit of a plot hole to me, where I was like, wait.
Yeah.
And then when you add the fact that all of the overseers from Vault 31 and I believe Vault 32 were buds that were all put to sleep in Vault 33. So how did he not immediately know something was up when he saw that the overseer of Vault 32 was not someone that he used to work with 200 years ago? Because they were all part of this same program. So I don't know. To me, no matter which way you cut it, that's a plot hole that maybe they'll address in the second season. See, we didn't glaze the whole thing. All right. We found something. We found something that was bad about it. It was bad. Thumbs down. I think that might damn near cover. I'm not surprised. Danny and I, we do this 2-hour thing quite often. I wasn't sure. I didn't think we get. I figured we get about an hour and a half. The thing felt weird to me, so I came up with Radioactive Party.
Yeah, I didn't. Kind of the same way as you, Kev. Like I didn't know how this would go, and it went way better than expected.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you guys had me. Thanks for bringing me on.
Thank you for joining.
Fallout talk. I mean, it's not very. See, we don't really talk about this kind of stuff in our neck of the woods over on the Clout Route. So it's fun to hop over here with you guys and talk about nerdy stuff instead of like psychos online.
Yeah, we talk about a completely different type of feral.
Yeah, like I am a straight deep dive nerd, and we had not had a chance to talk enough video games at all. We talked a lot of Star Wars. We talk a lot of Star Wars. And some movie stuff too, but we never got a chance to do a deep dive into the video games. Not this was like the perfect crossover.
Oh, I'd love to come back on again if you guys have another topic that I know about, I guess.
You are more than welcome anytime.
Thank you.
You just tell me where to sign, bud. Yeah, just let us know. And that, same thing. Danny sees plenty of me, so you can let me know, man, if there's something else that comes up that you want to come talk to us about. We do Star Wars every Wednesday, and I don't know what day we'll be doing, but we're going to be doing something like this, more eclectic. It might not always, it might not almost every certainly week, but won't always be just one topic. But even tonight wasn't just one topic. We ended up talking about other different video game TV shows. That's how it's always going to be.
That's how the point of this show is. Yeah.
Whether you've watched dDweeb before or you hang out with Danny on Clout Route, you probably already expect that. So that's where that's what we'll be doing. So we appreciate you all so much. I can't express my gratitude to the Crouters. You guys really showed
So
out
many
for
people.
us
Yeah,
today.
thank you guys.
Appreciate you.
That was awesome. Awesome.
Well, I couldn't be more impressed after last night, but Jesus, then you guys show up and
Yeah, I
listen
heard you
to
guys
us
had a
be nerds
monster
for
show
2
last
straight
night.
hours. My God, you guys are too.
It was
too
a
good for
monster
us.
show.
That's awesome.
It's not often we do a 3 and I mean, shit, we almost went 3.5. So I mean, yeah,
Ooh, boy.
things were
Yeah,
popping
dude, you
off.
can watch
last
the Two
night.
Towers while
The re-release
just on mute because you're gonna want to hear what we have to say.
They are gonna re-release those in theaters next month. If you didn't know, June 8th, 9th, and 10th, I think they're re-releasing the extended version in theaters. I'm pretty sure. So I'm busy.
That's our
I got
next
3
goal.
days.
Our next goal is to do a stream that's longer than an extended Peter Jackson film,
Yeah.
Oh
fucking
well.
and then the Snyder cut. And I think we'll be good.
Yeah. Godspeed to all of us attempting to do that.
One day we'll do some kind of crossover between all of our stuff, all the stuff that we all do, and we'll do like a what do they call it? You know, on Twitch they do like sub streams or whatever. It's like subathons. That's the word I couldn't think of. Subathons. And we should go like a 24-hour subathon.
Oh, just keep going. Just keep switching
dweeb, Clout
shows.
Route,
Yeah.
bite size or whatever. We can all get
Let's
involved.
do it.
Carnage.
Just
Get
everybody
everybody.
just keep swapping on the hour flip shows.
Yeah. Then that way people can actually sleep. That'd be fun, dude. We'll set that up.
Hey,
Get
that's
going.
craziness
Harl's
that might be in our future.
Harl's has got the point. We got to get Howard Shoren to score it for us.
Who's Howard?
Do it. Do
Shore?
some
Yeah,
bar
just
hopping.
like bar hopping. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, Danny, thank you for joining, Kev.
Yeah, no problem.
Pleasure as always. I think this is going to be it might be weekly, it might be bi-weekly. I don't really know. We haven't really figured out the plan for it, but we got to finally talk shit, that other stuff outside of our normal debauchery. So I appreciate you guys having me on, invite me into this crew of crazy, they're Crowders, right? I think that's what I've come to find out.
Many names.
Yeah, Crowders.
Clout Kittens we kind of had to get rid of. So,
Clout Kittens, no good. Okay, stay away from that one. I've got a taste of the Discord. It's quite quite something.
It's spicy.
Anything else you guys want to touch on? Let them know. I think these are all your people, where to find you, all that kind of fun stuff. Kev, that's usually your forte.
Danny, far away, man.
Check us out at the Clout Route, folks. Come over to at Route Clout on Twitter. The Clout Route Presents on YouTube. Patreon.com/The Clout Route, where you can get some exclusive stuff from me and Kev. We got it all. Okay, folks. Behind me. There you go. See it? The logo's right there, folks.
Mine got moved. I finally decided I was tired of covering up my collage. So, now we're a little bit further over here, but you can still see it. Yeah, of course. Tuesday night, Sunday night, the Clout Route shout out. We also have members only stuff going on, early access, Beavis and Butthead, True Detractor, all kinds of cool stuff going on. I need that money. I really, really do. So if you could join our channel for $1, that would be great. I need it for electric bills, internet bills, food bills, radiation bills. But other than that,
rat away.
Yeah, I need my Radaway drip. You can find me on bitesizesports.com. James and I are always talking to hoops on Thursday. I think at the end of this NBA season, there will be some shakeups to the Bite Size Sports calendar, so be on the lookout for that. And I am back in the booth starting this weekend to be doing play-by-play for the Lima Warriors. So if you want to watch some semi-pro football, I will be right there. And this month, speaking of Carnage Media, we get the pay-per-views back. So I got pro boxing on May the 25th. So I'm very excited to get back in the booth and do a completely different type of commentary. See, guys, they can never call me anti-commentary. It's literally one of my jobs. But James, where can the folks at home find you?
Well, Kev, they can find us every Wednesday, 9 p.m. talking Star Wars. That's where we get most of our fun in. Talking basketball every Thursday, 9 p.m. on the Bounce on our sister station Bite Size. I Babs, you'll never hear me talk about that old Notre Dame. I hate that school. That's not my
I might have to do it.
that
I might have to
school.
do a solo show, Babs, but
Yeah.
you might be the only one in the audience. But well, we'll do it.
I
hope you're not expecting me to say nice things.
Talking I might pop in and just talk shit the whole time.
Oh, that's fine. When it comes to Notre Dame, all I do is talk shit about them too. It's fine. That's just the kind of fan I am.
Even better. Sucks to be me. You can also catch us on here in the preview review where we watch trailers and grade trailers, not the movies, just the trailers. That's all we watch.
Like that.
We got a big day with this Wednesday talking. We got trailers, we got Star Wars. May the 4th just happened. We got all kinds of shit coming up. Thank you to everybody in the chat. I don't even think I can name all of you. There's a ton of you guys in there. Thank you so much for coming by. Got any last words, guys, before we do the send off here? We're 2 hours and 14 minutes in. I think we did pretty damn good today.
Yeah. War never changes.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, Danny, thank you for joining us, man. It was awesome. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
It was great. It was awesome bringing all your people over. So
appreciate it.
Yep. Until next time, guys, we'll see you
later.